Hello everybody, we've got two exciting announcements, and I want to start by saying I ain't too proud to admit when I f***ed up, because I think I set the price too high on this darn plugin. I see people saying that they love the sound of it, but they can't afford it, or they can't justify paying that much for a plugin, or plugins just shouldn't cost that much these days. And it bums me out. Like, I've worked really hard on this thing. I think it came out amazing. I think it's a really useful tool, and I want people to be able to use it. The good news is it's not too late to fix it. So we are going to drop the price of this plugin to $149. And more importantly, the new introductory price is going to be $99, exactly half of what it was for its initial launch. And we are going to refund the difference to all of the people who have already bought this plugin, because it's the right thing to do. The folks that jumped in early and bought this plugin at that higher price are exactly the Undertone Audio users that we really want to show our appreciation for. So we would never leave you out in the cold on something like this. We just don't do that. The refund process is super easy. You don't have to do anything, but it will take a little bit of time. Shopify is saying that it can take as long as 10 days depending on the method of purchase, whether it's PayPal or credit card and what your bank is and where you're from. All that stuff can factor into how long it will take for the refund to actually land back in your account. And the other thing is, it's easy to do, but we have to do it one at a time. We can't just select everything and have it refund everything all at once. And so it's going to take us a little while to get through that process. So all combined, I would say, if you haven't seen a refund in a couple weeks, let us know. We'll get you sorted out. The second exciting announcement is about the update that we're releasing right now. I think we were able to address a ton of the stuff that all of us were discovering as this thing rolled out, and everybody got to start playing with it in all these different ways and all this stuff. You know, you learn stuff. So here we go. This is what we got. Number one on the list, sidechain high pass. What was I thinking? Oh my God, I can't believe I left that off. Okay, it's in there. We repurposed these trim controls so they aren't just these non-functional graphics on the GUI. And so now we also have a gain makeup control. This allows you to change the level of only the processed signal. There were people asking for that, where it's very important in their process. If they're doing parallel compression, they want to be able to change the volume of just the compressed signal. Now you can do that. We still have the other control up here that allows you to change the overall volume of whatever the blend is. That's how I do it, so that's why it was initially set up there, but now you got the other way too for people that do it another way. The other big thing, faster load time. We made some really good progress on that. So now on my system, the plugin will instance in about 3.5 seconds. I'm using a Mac Studio with an M1 Ultra processor in it, and I experimented with the difference between launching Pro Tools Rosetta or native. As you would expect, it's definitely faster native. So about 3.5 seconds if you instance with Pro Tools launched native, and maybe 4 to 5 seconds if you launch Pro Tools with Rosetta. But overall, before that, you know, it was like 6 or 7 seconds to instance the plugin. So I think we've got it down like almost in half of what it was. So that's good. The other thing that happened, we got the CPU usage more efficient. And so now on my system, it'll do 16 times oversampling very comfortably. You can see it here. There it is there, no problem. So admittedly, it is a processor-heavy plugin. There's a lot going on there. It took a lot to get this thing to sound the way it does. It still may be more than other plugins you're used to, but try it again on your system, because I think there's a good chance it will actually work for you now. And it's really going to depend how powerful your processor is in order to make that happen, to get the full 16 times oversampling. But as far as I know, it's working correctly, and if your computer's up to it, it should work great. There's some other helpful things, like we added a place where you can check to see if you have the latest version of the plugin. We're going to continue to roll out stuff as we're able to improve it more, and so this will be a really easy way to check and see if you're all the way up to date. We worked on the external sidechain, and so that should be working better for you. It is important to know that this plugin is designed so the signal path really is like a feedback compressor. That's a weird thing. If you heard me talk about the UnFairchild before, you know what that means. It means that the signal that is triggering the compression comes from the actual output of the compressor plugin. And that is kind of weird because it's triggering compression with the signal it's compressing. And so that also means if you take a signal and send it to trigger compression that is not the output of that plugin, it is impossible to have it be feedback compression. So when you use the external sidechain, it is going to sound more like feed-forward compression. It will sound a little different than the feedback compression when you're using it on the internal sidechain. So you just have to know that, but everything about it should work better and more predictably, okay? The feedback versus feed-forward thing, there's nothing we can do about that right now. We're thinking, we're trying, we'll see if we can figure out a solution for that, but for the time being, just know that. We fixed a couple other small things that I wanted to clean up that were bugging me. The first was having this link L plus R control, which links together the controls on the GUI. We had that become part of the A/Bing. There was a situation where if you're comparing a stereo linked mix setting versus an MS setting, when you're switching back and forth with the A/B, it could mess up your MS setting. So we fixed that. And then we went back and made sure that all of the controls were listed in the automation selections. So we got that. The only thing we couldn't include in this that I know we're going to do is the special key commands for enabling automation, where you can just hold down Control Option Command and click on a control and have it be able to enable so you don't have to go through all these windows to do it. The other thing is just Control Command to bring up that automation lane so you can see it. I use those all the time. I just hadn't been using this thing yet in mixing and didn't realize that it wasn't doing that. Now I know, and it's going to get fixed. Okay, so hopefully this update fixes issues that you were experiencing, and hopefully this lower price makes it more affordable for people, and hopefully a whole lot more people will be able to make some amazing sounding music with this thing. Thank you for supporting Undertone Audio and joining us on this crazy new adventure into the wild world of plugins. Bye.